So it is finally time for us to start stoking and shifting and stimulating and warming that heavy kapha dosha that's been accumulating over the first part of winter. Now, in this level 1 practice group, there is a limit to sort of what we can do, but we will still be absolutely working within that Ayurvedic lens, predominantly by cultivating breath ratio, where the inhale is twice as long as the exhale. And we'll be chipping away at that throughout the month. This first week of practice is all about establishing rhythm and attention, as well as getting really well acquainted with the foundational techniques. Now, even if you are one of my students who has been with me for a while, even if you think you've done a lot of pranayama, a reminder that the Zen mind is a beginner's mind. So please come to every practice willing to be empty of everything you think you know, so that you can maybe learn or experience something new. Now, this morning, we're actually going to begin on our bellies in Makrasana, crocodile pose. I'll ask you, please, when you are ready, to come to your tummies on the floor. If lying on your belly is inappropriate for you for whatever reason, then please take Shavasana. And I'll ask you before you do, just to make sure that you are muted, please. As you come to lie on the floor, arranging yourself so that your forehead is resting on top of your stacked hands. I suggest bringing the big toes together and allowing the heels to fall away from one another. And maybe giving your hips a gentle wiggle to make sure that your lower back and pelvis feels comfortable. Let's begin with a full exhale. And now begin to move your breath slowly and smoothly in and out through the nose. Are you able to bring your tongue to come to rest up against the hard palate, keeping the jaw relaxed? And as you breathe, please encourage your belly to swell and push against the resistance of the earth beneath you. Feeling the side of your rib cage and the back of your rib cage moving with the breath. And allowing yourself to become aware of the contours of the breath, the sensation of the air filling the lungs, the free and full movement of the rib cage. Bringing all of your attention into the felt experience of the breath. If you feel comfortable and well established here, you might experiment with taking a brief pause at the top of the inhale, inhabiting that contained expansion in that space between the inhale and the exhale. No tension or strain. Feeling the full three-dimensional pattern as the breath expands the lungs in all directions. At the end of your next exhalation, please gently slide your hands alongside your rib cage and make your way gently into child's pose, sinking your sit bones toward your heels, creeping the fingertips out long in front of you, feeling length in the side waist. And now please take your time to make your way to an upright seat. The quality of the seat that we establish in the breath practice is really important. You don't have to be sitting on the floor. You are so welcome to sit in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, please make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. And you're also so welcome to rest your spine against the bed or the wall. It is generally suggested to elevate the sit bones slightly so that you give some support to the lower back, allowing the knees to drop closer to the earth. Or if your knees are lifted significantly away from the floor, please consider propping either side of your legs with a couple of yoga blocks or cushions or something similar. Now, this morning, as we arrive, we're taking a few prayers and a few resets to help us really settle into the space. The first maneuver that we'll be performing this morning looks a little bit strange, but the tongue plays a very significant role in functional breathing and pranayama, as well as sharing a very close relationship with the ventral branch of the vagus nerve. And so this morning, I'll ask you in your upright seat to set your eye gaze on something still, about 1 meter or 2 in front of you. And when you're ready, please begin to draw some very slow circles with your tongue along the inside of your lips, like this. Taking 10 slow circles in one direction. And then taking another 10 slow circles in the opposite direction. Don't be surprised if this is more difficult than you had anticipated. If you carry tension in the jaw, in the neck, or in the shoulders, or if there's any weakness in the tongue, this can be quite difficult. Take your time and be present. And once you have completed your 20 tongue circles, I'll invite you to take a few rounds of our reset breath together. I can see that some of you are still working with your tongue, so I'll wait for just a moment. Okay, settling into the reset breath pattern, starting with an exhalation. Now, please take a big, boisterous inhale through your nose. Take a second top up inhale through the nose. And now exhale through the mouth slowly. Through pursed lips so that the exhale needs to really slow down. Again, big nasal inhale. Second top up inhale. Slow exhale through the mouth. Again, big nasal inhale. Second top up inhale. Exhale through the mouth slowly. Please take 3 more rounds of this reset breath pattern on your own. Encouraging a full expansion of the lungs and the rib cage with that second top up inhale, and keeping the exhale nice and slow. And when you are ready, let's come to settle in our seat. I invite you to close down your eyes, or if closing your eyes makes you uncomfortable, you can keep the eyelids just partially open. Think of one of those beautiful Thai Buddha statues with the eyelids down at half mast. Now, whether you're working with your eyes open or closed, please direct your eye gaze gently down in the direction of the bridge of the nose. Bring your tongue to rest flat against the roof of your mouth, especially the back of the tongue. And come to meet your breath. Moving your breath very slowly and very smoothly in and out through the nose. Allowing a portion of your awareness to rest within the channels of the nostrils. As you notice the movement of the air. You might notice the slightly cool quality of the inhalation as it enters the nose, and a slightly warmer feeling on the exhalation. Do you notice one of your nostrils feeling more open or closed than the other? Allowing some of your awareness now to gently descend down into the rib cage and the belly. Reconnecting with that 3-dimensional experience of the breath. Encouraging the rib cage to move freely and allowing the belly to remain soft. Tongue rests against the roof of the mouth. The eye gaze gently directed toward the nose. When you are ready, please begin to very gently hug your windpipe toward the back of your throat. This is exactly the same feeling that we need to elicit when we are attempting to fog up a mirror, but keep the breath moving through the nose. allowing that very subtle resistance in the airway to lend your breath some texture and some tone. Listening carefully to the sound of the breath. Allow yourself to become curious as to the textural quality that the breath takes on. Can you create a sound and a sensation in the breath that is very smooth, very velvety? Resting your full, sincere attention in the feeling of the breath. Tongue rests against the roof of the mouth. Eye gaze gently focused toward the nose. Free and full movement in the rib cage and the belly. A smooth, velvety texture and tone in the breath. Begin to notice how long your inhalations are. Counting a few consecutive rounds of breath until you ascertain where your inhale has landed this morning. And once you have figured out where your inhale is today, please bring your exhalation up to meet and to match. Keeping your mind focused on the count. Can you spread the inhale and exhale very smoothly and evenly across the count of the breath? Try not to rush the first part of the inhale or the exhale. Use the gentle hug of your windpipe to help you control the speed of the breath. No tension or strain. Keep your mind anchored in the count, your physical senses engaged in the felt experience of the breath. Allow yourself to become curious now as to the different qualities of the inhale and the exhale. The rising, swelling, filling ascendancy of the inhalation, and the gentle, soothing, emptying drop down of the exhalation. Stay with this. Just this breath. Just this moment. Keep your mind anchored in the count. If you get lost or become distracted, gently and lovingly invite yourself back. When you are ready, please begin to stretch your inhalations out to twice their current length. The challenge will always be on the longer side of the breath. Try not to rush the first part of the inhale. Use the gentle hug of the windpipe to slow the inhale down, stretching it smoothly across the long count. Tongue rests against the roof of the mouth. Eye gaze down toward the nose. If you sense that the double length inhale is beyond your reasonable capacity, then shave 2 counts off of that long inhale. Stay with this. At the end of your next exhale, let go of that pattern. Let go of the hug of the windpipe and allow your breath to return to its natural, quiet, unmanipulated state. But remain with the spotlight of your attention illuminating your internal terrain, and simply notice how you have arrived in this moment. If you feel a genuine need to move or to adjust your seat, please do so now. Try to avoid unnecessary distraction. We'll come back to settle when you're ready, please. Once more, lift the tongue to gently rest against the roof of the mouth, making sure there's no tension in the jaw. If you feel you need a couple of rounds of your reset breath to cleanse the pranic palate, now might be a good time to take them. Otherwise, please settle back into your breath. The eye gaze gently down toward the nose. The breath moving smoothly and slowly through the nostrils. Once more, employ that gentle hug of the windpipe as you take up the Ujjayi technique. Notice how the tone and the texture of the breath afford you the opportunity to trace the contours, the shape of the breath as it moves in the lungs. Allow yourself to be curious, attentive, noticing once more the different quality of the inhale and the exhale. The rising, filling, swelling ascendancy of the inhale and the soothing, emptying drop down of the exhalation. Softening the face and allowing the corners of your mouth to turn up slightly. When you are ready, please come back into the pattern that you established for yourself, your Samavritti 1, the even inhale and exhale. Wherever your count landed for you this morning, settling back into that rhythm. Keep your mind anchored in the count. Stay with this. When you are ready, we shift this pattern into Samavritti 2, our box breathing pattern, adding a pause at the end of the inhale and another at the end of the exhale. Keeping each of the 4 sides of the breath even. No tension or strain. Tongue rests against the roof of the mouth. Eye gaze gently directed toward the nose. The gentle hug of the windpipe. The smooth texture and sound of the breath. Begin to take note of the different qualities of each of the 4 sides of the breath. The rising, filling sensation of the inhalation, that space of contained expansion at the top of the inhale, the grounding, emptying feeling of the exhalation, and the peaceful, vacuous space at the end of the exhale. Stay with this. If your mind wanders, gently and lovingly invite yourself back. At the end of your next exhalation, letting go of that cadence, that pattern, moving in a way that creates the least disruption. Please carefully make your way onto your back for your Shavasana. Arranging yourself in any fashion that suits you, perhaps with a bolster or cushion beneath the knees to support the lower back. And as you arrive here, just finessing the posture by scooping the shoulder blades up and underneath you closer to the spine, turning the palms of the hands to face the ceiling, feeling wide and open across the chest and shoulders. Allow the toes to fall away from the heels. Please bring your attention into the feeling of your heels resting against the earth. Simply shining the spotlight of your attention into the heels. Spreading awareness into the soles of the feet. And noticing the feeling of your socks or blanket against the skin of your feet. Gently draw your attention up into the calf muscles. The feeling of the lower legs against the earth. Tracing awareness up into the knee joints. Wrapping your attention around the spaces within the knees. Becoming aware of the back of the thighs against the earth. The soft, wide spread of the upper legs and buttocks. Moving your attention to coalesce within the pelvis. Filling the space within the pelvis with your attention. Begin to move your awareness along the curve of your lower back. The curve of the mid back. And the feeling of your rib cage against the floor. Summoning your attention up into your collarbones. The hollow of your throat. Slowly tracing attention down the long bones of the upper arms. As you notice the weight of your forearms against the floor. Feeling the backs of the hands. The palms and fingers. Bringing awareness gently back into the throat, the bones of the neck, feeling into the jaw, the space within the mouth, the spaces between your teeth. Finally, bringing that awareness up into the space within the skull, wrapping the tissue of your brain in your attention. Allow your breath to deepen slightly. And begin to very gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Rotating into your wrists and ankles. And gently swallow to lubricate your throat. You might enjoy a lovely yawn and a stretch, perhaps even catching a satisfying ride on the pandiculation reflex, where the yawn and the stretch meet one another. Please take your time to roll onto your right hand side. If you have low blood pressure, please roll to the left. And take a moment here on your side, carefully bringing your attention back into the room. Slowly and gently curling your way back to an upright seat. As you arrive in your seat, remaining just for now with your eyes closed, your attention directed inwards. And take a moment to notice and acknowledge how you have arrived here at the end of your practice, at the beginning of your day. Gently float the palms to meet one another in front of your heart, or if you prefer, just rest one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. But noticing the weight and the warmth of the hands. We punctuate the end of our practice with gratitude and acknowledgement, extending our thanks for the gift of this day, our lives and our health, and offering one another our respects and acknowledgement. Also offering our respects and gratitude to the custodians of this living tradition. And as always, dear friends, my most sincere respect, affection, and gratitude to you all. Thank you for your company, your energy. Have a wonderful day. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email or my phone. And look out for the recording coming to you soon. Little reminder before you slip into your day that it is kapha pacifying season, which means the keywords that we're working with in our diet and lifestyle are stimulation, warmth, and movement. So we don't need to overthink it, just more stimulation, positive stimulation, please. More warmth and more movement overall. Thank you, my loves. Have a great day. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay, bye.